Good morning. I hope you have completed the exercise of the first chapter. If you have any doubts, you can tell me. I'll post you the solutions. Today we will start with the next chapter, Gauss law. I have already given you the documents of first 7 pages of this chapter. So go through it. After watching this video, you will be able to understand it in a better way. So first, before we study about Gauss law, first we will study about an entity, a physical quantity called electric flux. Now before coming to that, let's discuss a little bit about electric field. We have already studied electric field. We know that electric field is because of a presence of a charge or a system of charges. Now the system of charges can have both positive and negative charge combined, or the system can have one type of charge, all positive or all negative. But anyways, whatever charge is present in the system, it will produce an electric field. Now if suppose that we have a system which does not have any boundary, it is an infinite system, it is extending to all the axis to infinite distance. In that case, how will we represent an electric field? We represent it with an arrow. We draw the arrows and we write E. This means there is an electric field in this area. There is no boundary, so it is an infinite electric field in all directions. It is going infinite in this direction, backward, downward, upward and inward also. So it is a three-dimensional infinite system. But suppose if we limit this system in a particular two-dimensional area, we have converted the infinite 3D system into a finite 2D system. So all of these electric field lines are suppose passing through a closed area. This is a plane passing through a plane. So this electric field line, for example, it will come from this side and it will pass through this plane. Similarly, this line will also pass through this plane. All the electric field lines which are coming towards the plane will pass through the plane. The field lines which are outside the dimension of planes, for example this field line or this field line, these are outside the dimension of the plane. We do not consider them inside the plane, that is, we do not take them in the calculation of electric flux. Okay, so we are considerate only about those electric field lines which are passing through a closed area. Okay, so this was the first concept. Second, does this area have a direction? Now this statement sounds like little bit confusing. How does an area have a direction? For that, let me remind you, you have studied in mathematics also till class 10th, that an area is considered to be a plane. A plane has only two dimensions, a length and a breadth. This one, if this is length, then this dimension will be taken as breadth. There is no thickness of the plane. A plane, according to the geometry, has a direction. So what is the direction of a plane? Now keep this in mind always, that we take the direction of a plane either perpendicularly outward or perpendicularly inward. So if this page on which I am writing is a plane, then the direction of this plane will either be perpendicularly upward or it will be perpendicularly downward. Okay, so there is no sideways direction, either perpendicularly upward or perpendicularly downward. So there are two different things, plane and direction of plane. This is plane, this plane is on the table, it is flat, that is the plane. But if we talk about the direction of plane, then the direction you will take either perpendicularly outward or perpendicularly inward. So I hope that thing is clear. So if this is the plane, suppose this is the direction of plane. I am denoting it with S cap, direction of surface. This is the direction of electric field. Now if you look at this diagram, then you can compare it with the shower in our bathroom. That shower that we use to take a bath. If you open the shower, every small hole will give a jet of water. You can compare that scenario with this plane and electric flux as it is. The way that water jets are coming out of the holes of shower, that is exactly the electric flux. That shower, that water jets that are coming out of hole, you can consider them electric field lines, and the area of shower you can consider plane or surface. Okay, so all of this water jet or electric field will pass through this shower or area, and whatever electric field is passing through that area is called electric flux. So I'll repeat again. We have a closed plane, we have an electric field. Plane has only length and breadth and no thickness. It has two possible directions, perpendicularly outward and perpendicularly inward. You can take any which way according to the question. All this electric field, when it will pass through this closed area, then the resulting system is called electric flux. Now this point is to be noted that the electric flux is a scalar quantity. This is not a vector quantity, this is a scalar quantity, while surface is a vector quantity and electric field is also a vector quantity. Both of these are multiplied to get the scalar quantity electric flux. If we are doing this, then which kind of multiplication has to be done between surface and electric field? The scalar product, that is electric flux, or we will represent it with the symbol phi e to be exact. Electric flux equals to the dot product of electric field and surface direction, the vector of surface or the area. If there is a dot product and if we expand it, then it will be es cos theta. Now what is this theta? This theta is the angle between electric field and plane. Now in this example which we took, both plane, the direction of plane and electric field are in the same direction. That means in this particular case theta equals to 0 degree. So flux will be equals to E into S cos 0. Cos 0 is 1, so you will simply get E into S. But it is possible that every time theta is not equal to 0. Suppose theta has some value. So let us take another example. I'll draw another diagram. Suppose this is your electric field in this direction and your plane like this, so that the direction of plane is in this direction. So now you will have an angle theta between E and S. Now whatever is the angle theta, suppose the theta is 60 degree. So the statement, how will you write the statement? The statement will be given as, in this closed area the electric field is making an angle theta with the direction of plane. So in that case electric flux will be equal to Es cos whatever is the value of theta, suppose 60 degree. So Es cos 60 degree. This will give you the value of electric flux. So this was about the regular surfaces. Both of them are rectangle, they are regular surface. Suppose the surface is not regular, suppose it is an irregular surface like this, and there are electric field lines passing through this area, this irregular surface. Now how will we calculate? For this, now we have to take advantage of higher tools of mathematics. We will divide this entire irregular surface into very small infinite number of surfaces. So this area will be divided into many small regular areas like this, and we will calculate the flux passing through each area. Remember, we have divided into equal kind of small areas. All of these areas are equal in dimension. So if we calculate the flux of one area, then we will integrate to find out the electric flux of the entire surface. Suppose in this area, this is your E, this is your S at an angle theta. So for this small area there will be a small flux delta phi equals to electric field into small surface area delta S. So this is the electric flux of this area. Similarly, same electric flux will be of this area. If there are n number of areas dividing this surface, then we can say that if we add delta phi n times, then we will get total electric flux passing through the surface. So for that we use integration. We can write phi equals to integral of E dot ds. ds because we have taken the surface area to be small. Now also one thing that we have to keep in mind, that these areas are closed areas, which is required by the definition of electric flux. If the area is open, then electric flux cannot be found by this formula. So these areas closed areas. So that means this integral should also be a closed integral. So to represent that, we make a small circle on the sign of integral. This means the closed integral, or you can say integration across a closed surface area. In some books you will find it like this also. They write a small s here. So integral across closed surface area equals to E dot ds. This will give us the total flux of the entire surface. So this was about the electric flux on a closed surface area. Now surface areas can be of different type. We have taken two surface area till now, a closed regular surface area and a closed irregular surface area. So depending on the shape of the area or the dimension of the areas, we can divide it into three parts: linear, planar and volume. Suppose the area is a line. This is your area which has only one dimension, length or breadth. The other dimension is 0. This kind of plane is called a line. Suppose this line has all the charge. All the charge is on that line. We can consider it as a wire. Then to represent the charge, we will use the quantity linear charge density, which in your book is represented by lambda. So lambda equals to dq by dl, charge per unit length. This is your density, linear density. If this is 1 meter long wire and the total charge is q, then lambda will be equals to q upon 1 meter. If the total charge is q but the length is half meter or 0.5 meter, then lambda equals to q upon 0.5 meter. If value of q is 2 coulombs, then linear charge density will be 2 upon length of wire. Suppose it is 0.5 meter, so it will be 2 upon 0.5 meter, 4 coulomb per meter. Okay, so this is linear charge density. Similarly, we can have a surface like we did earlier. So we will represent it with surface charge density, which in your book is represented by sigma equals to dq by ds. Same thing. Here the unit will be coulomb per meter square, because meter square because of the surface. There are two dimensions, so meter square. Similarly, we can have a volume. We can have a cube, for example. Now it is a three-dimensional figure. So we will use volume charge density, represented by rho equals to dq upon dv. Its unit will be coulomb per cubic meter. So on this topic, there are 3 solved examples given in your book. Do these examples, try to understand them. Always remember, you have to calculate flux, you need to have 3 quantities: electric field, surface area and the angle between electric field and surface area. Then by using the formula of electric flux and these 3 formula, you can calculate the required electric flux given in the solved example. So check out those examples and tell me if you have any doubt in this concept. Thank you.